What's your message? Hey, you've just got to get out there and share your message. Well, maybe it was a problem with your messaging. Have you ever heard some kind of variation of those statements? And while on some level you get that messaging is a really important part of your business, you're still left kind of wondering, well, yeah, but what if I don't know what my message is? Well, stick with me because in this video, I'm going to help you to get crystal clear on exactly what your message is so that you can get out there and share it with the world and use that message to attract the right kind of clients for your business. If you're new to my channel, my name is Melinda Kitto, and if you're looking for messaging and marketing tips that will help you stand out online, make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I upload a new video every single week. Now, I'm just going to dive right into it with this one. The term messaging kind of gets thrown around a lot in the online space, but I think a lot of people aren't actually sure what it really means. And sometimes messaging gets confused with another particular M word. I remember one of my previous coaches used to always ask me the question, yeah, but what is the message you want to shake the world with? And that always kind of left me saying, because at that point in my business, I didn't really feel like I had a message. There wasn't some earth-shattering, revolutionary thing that was on my heart to share with the world. I wasn't out there to change the world. To be honest, I started my business to change my world, to create the kind of income and lifestyle that would suit my family. And so this whole notion of what is this message you want to shake the world with kind of left me feeling like my desires and my drive for my business weren't enough. That unless I was out there to impact the world, I had no place sharing any kind of message at all. But what I realized is that there is a line between two very distinct things that is getting quite blurred here. On the one hand, you've got your message, and on the other hand, you've got your mission. Your mission is what is driving you forward. It's what's motivating you and inspiring you to do the work that you're doing. Your message, however, can be entirely separate from that. So let's just take the pressure off a little bit, shall we? If you're trying to get really clear on your message, this is not a matter of sitting on a pillow and waiting for the clouds to part and the angels to sing down upon you and go, oh, this is what I meant to share. Yep, I just did that. So what is messaging then? The way I like to explain it is that messaging is how you articulate what it is that you do in a way that makes the right people sit up and pay attention, and most importantly, in a way that compels them to take action. And your messaging is infused into everything that you do online. Your branding, your images, your copywriting. It's in the way that you show up on a Facebook Live. It's how you present your offer on a sales call. Your message is infused into all of those elements of your business because your messaging is how you communicate the value of what you do and why people should give a shit. So with that in mind, I want to dig into what I believe are the three main components that you really need to get clear on to have a strong and compelling message. And the first of those components is your core message statement. This is essentially a statement that encapsulates what you do, who it's for, and why they would want it. It's the thing that you would use to answer the question, hey, so what do you do? I find that crafting that core message statement can be a real block for a lot of people. Because how do you capture the real essence and the brilliance of what you do and jam it into one short yet compelling statement? If you want some help on how to do that, I suggest that you check out this video right here where I dig into exactly how I would build that core message statement. Now, even though it can be a little bit challenging to lock in on that core message statement, that's one of the first things that I really get my clients to focus on. Because when I got clear on that statement for my own business, literally things changed like that. I remember jumping on a 2-minute live stream because I was just so excited that I had finally figured out who I was wanting to help and what I was wanting to help them with. And just by me sharing that, all of a sudden I had people replying in the comments, oh my God, that's exactly what I need help with. And the really insane part is that 2-minute, totally unplanned live stream where I just shared my core message statement ended up turning into me signing 3 premium level clients in just 5 days. Like, for real. So I think sometimes people skip over the importance of landing on that core message statement, but truly when you can get really clear on what that statement looks like for you, and when you can articulate it to other people, all of a sudden you're giving them the opportunity to realize that you are exactly what they need. Now, the second component that you need to get really clear on is what I like to call your through line. And essentially, your through line is what your people need to understand in order for them to be able to say yes to your offer. Let me put that another way. What do they need to believe in order to feel like your services are the answer? What do they need to be able to buy into? What is the perspective shift that they need to have in order to say yes? And I'm going to use my own business as an example here. Because a lot of newer entrepreneurs who are struggling to get traction in their business aren't really quite sure what the problem is. Maybe they think they need to spend thousands of dollars on this gorgeous website. They might be thinking their prices are too high. Maybe they're worried that they're just following the wrong strategy, that they need to build out this huge funnel, or they need to be spending every day on YouTube or Pinterest or Instagram. And so my through line, what I need my clients to understand is that none of that stuff matters unless you are clear on your message. Because if you don't know how to articulate the brilliance of what you do, what are you putting in that funnel? What are you going to write on that pretty little website of yours? So my through line is all about helping my people to understand that the absolute fundamental thing that you need to figure out in your business is your message. And once you have that, whatever strategy you choose, webinars, YouTube, Pinterest, will actually start to work because you know how to communicate the value of what you have to offer. You can tell I get a little bit ranty when it comes to my through line. But that's because I believe it is such a fundamental thing to get clear on. And that's why it's my through line. Because in order for people to want to work with me, they need to believe that too. And the reason I call it a through line is because once you are clear on that, that is going to be the central line or the central theme that weaves its way through everything that you do. Because if that's what you need your people to understand, you need to infuse all of your content with that message. If you're writing a blog, how can you bring that blog topic back to what they really need to understand? If you're building a lead magnet, how will that lead magnet educate them on what they really need to understand? So if you hang around with me any length of time, you'll find me often reinforcing that message, that it doesn't matter if you've got this, or this, because if your message isn't clear, none of that's gonna work. So have a little bit of a think about what your through line needs to be. What do your people need to understand in order for them to say, oh yeah, she's totally right, I'm on board. Now the third component you need to get clear on in order to have a strong and compelling message is understanding what is the ultimate outcome of working with you. And in a nutshell, this is the why should I give a shit factor. Because if you want your message to compel people to take action, you need to make them give a shit. You need to make them care. And what makes people care? Knowing what's in it for them. You might have the most amazing service out there, but unless you can communicate the value and the benefits and the outcomes that your people will get from that service, then sorry, but they just don't care. So to get clear on this ultimate outcome, I want you to imagine that we're having a conversation and I ask you, okay, so what am I going to get out of working with you? And usually when I dig into this with my clients, the first answer that comes out is kind of surface level. You know, maybe it's I'll lose weight, or I'll feel happier, or I'll have more energy. I mean, yeah, great, but give me a bit more, will ya? Make me care, make me give a shit. What will that allow me to do? What will that allow me to achieve? How will that make my life different? And ultimately, the thing that's going to make this hit the mark is knowing what your people actually want. Because if you know what specific outcomes your people want to achieve, then all you need to do is articulate how your service will deliver that. And my favorite way to dig in a little bit deeper on this question is to pretend that you're talking to a really surly teenager. So you'll be like, well, my services will help you to A, B, C. And I just want you to picture that surly teenager going, yeah, so what? Because now you kind of want to just prove something to that kid, right? So you're going to take on a bit of a different energy and you'll be saying, well, you need this because that's going to allow you to do this. And now you're getting a little bit closer. Now I've got 4 little words here that I want you to use to really amp up the care factor for that outcome you're trying to share. And those 4 words are so that you can. My service is going to give you this outcome so that you can have this benefit. Because that's the bit they actually care about. They want to understand how your service and your outcome will give them what they truly want. So they're the 3 core components of a really strong and compelling message. Your core message statement, your through line, and the ultimate outcome of working with you. And when you put those 3 components together, you get a really strong overarching message for your business. But one other thing that I want you to understand is how that message shifts as you start to drill down. Because each offer that you create in your business almost needs to have its own messaging subset, its own way of communicating why you would want it. And we want to make sure that every offer you put out there is absolutely irresistible to your dream clients. So hit that notification bell, because in next week's video, I'm going to dive into exactly how to use that message to position your thing as an absolute must-have offer for your perfect clients. So hit that bell and you'll be notified as soon as that video comes out. Now, I want you to let me know in the comments, which of these 3 components do you feel you need to work on to really strengthen your message and make it way more compelling? And as always, if this video has been helpful for you, make sure to subscribe, share it with your friends, and hit that like button so I know you want to see more videos just like this one. I share a ton of these videos on how to describe what you do in juicy and compelling language. So if you want to learn more about that, make sure that you check out these videos right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. There's like one gray hair that's annoying me. I got it. It's like a really wiry one.